YouTube Frogs, welcome back to another Cyno video. It's time to unleash Cyno's full power. Quick disclaimer though, this footage was recorded on the media server to showcase Cyno's journey to ultimate form. I do not actually have C6 Cyno, nor do I have R5 of his weapon. With that out of the way, this is how my Cyno currently looks. He's a puny level 80 out of 80, Constellation 0, with R1 of his Scarlet Sands also at level 80. This is a starting point. Actually, let's bring him a bit further back. The most relatable Cyno possible, the glorious White Tassel at R580. So we're going to take him from level 80 Constellation 0 White Tassel Cyno all the way to level 90 Constellation 6 R590 Scarlet Sands Cyno, documenting our progress along the way, showcasing C0R1 80 Scarlet Sands, and then C0R1 at level 90 with level 90 Scarlet Sands as well. Then C2R1, which grants 20% attack speed and 50% electro, and then C3R1, which is plus 3 burst levels for his multiplier values, then C6R1, where his normal attacks goes crazy, and then finally C6R5, everything at level 90. This is to see Cyno's ascent into God Realm and how powerful he can truly be. So these will be the party members accompanying his journey. Dendro MC, Aggravate Enabler. Zhongli, Protective Shield Dad. And that's it. Thought there'd be a fourth? We don't need a full team or Resonance. This is all he needs for his own DPS showcase. Except Kazuha. I'll be adding him in later at C6R5 for that extra DPS. So then, who will be our honorable opponent? That's right, none other than that trusty Inazuman Samurai Masanori. I will not be changing Cyno's artifacts at all during this, so he is stuck with 4 Thundering Fury, running Elemental Mastery, Electro Goblet, and a crit damage mask. And unfortunately, my rotations aren't going to be perfect every fight, so I'll provide precise interpolations of my own fighting data to provide you guys with the rotation damage for each showcase level. Let's begin. So first up, level 80 with C0R1 White Tassel. Taking a look at this rotation, estimating 10 aggravate procs and a standard rotation with its numbers, White Tassel comes out at about 290,000 damage in a full 18-second rotation. His elemental skill procs in this rotation with those aggravate increases account for about 140 to 150,000 of his damage, basically 50%. This is the most relatable of Cyno setups. Now let's see with R180 Scarlet Sands. So Masanori is already unable to keep up, but that's okay. The rotation damage is still enough to extrapolate a full 18-second rotation. Just from swapping Tassel to Scarlet Sands, we get an estimate of 383,000 damage. Now, this may not be as high as you expected, since in a non-aggravate state, Scarlet Sands pushes almost 50% stronger than White Tassel in terms of DPS. However, now that we include aggravates, and they both have the same elemental mastery, the gap is closed slightly, and Scarlet Sands only pushes 30% stronger than the White Tassel. Obviously, this is still significantly higher, but as a 3-star, White Tassel is still pretty impressive. Alright, enough talk at level 80. Let's ascend him up.
My strength.
Your strength. Man, that'd be pretty painful, wouldn't it be? Alright, I'm kind to you guys. Oh wow, very well prepared. All the way to 90. Alright, his crit rate also gets an increase now. With him at level 90, now his stats. 95 crit and 222.9 crit damage. Now, with just these upgrades, let's see the DPS increase. So, just from 90ing him and his weapon, we are seeing a massive increase in DPS. Not only did he gain crit damage and crit rate from his Ascension stat and weapon secondary stat, but the aggravate damage is now maximized because he's level 90 instead of 80. So the total out of this rotation is now 482,000 damage. This is another 25% spike over the exact same build, but level 80 instead of 90. So the combination of Ascension plus 90 and weapon base attack and crit rate increase stabilizes this massive gain. Now, we can begin the constellations. We're going to add both Constellation 1 and Constellation 2, because we can't immediately see the attack speed gain. And we'll see if Masanori can hold up. So he's getting stronger and stronger. And you can also notice that the combos are able to be extended just a little bit to fit in extra normal attacks before the eye pops up. Enhanced elemental skills are smashing through Masanori's defenses, dealing 50 to 60,000 per elemental skill, and now the total out of this rotation is 653,000 damage. This is exactly what you'd anticipate, being about 35% stronger than the exact same setup at Constellation 0 R1. This accounts for the additional attack speed granted by C1, leaving in 1 extra auto prior to the eye, and the electro damage bonus gain, which is 50% from Constellation 2. This of course accounts for both C0R1 and C2R1 having a crit rate increase from 91 now to 95, and also the crit damage increase from 213 now to 222.9. Now for a slight bump, Constellation 3. So this jump improves his multipliers for his burst. So here's what it looks like with level 6 talents. And now, with C3 activated, level 9 talents. So, this is probably the least noticeable increase. Since Constellation 3 doesn't improve his elemental skill damage, which are the nukes essentially that you might be staring at, what we're getting here is a normal attack boost for about a 20% DPS increase. So the total out of this rotation is now 706,000 damage. The increase over C2 is just about 8%. You can also expect C5 to improve the total rotation by this exact 8% as well, since both of them account for 50% of the DPS. And finally, let's go for Constellation 6 at R1. There it is, YouTube frogs. Woohoo! Look at those Duststalker bolts go. We're seeing 4 additional bolts, one at a time, fire off between each eye. It's also so hard to tell the damage output from them, but you can see they are actually the huge 12 to 24,000 damage procs that sometimes aggravate. Obviously, Masanori cannot survive this onslaught, but in a full rotation, you can expect 20 of these to fire off. On average, depending on aggravate procs, we can probably expect them all to hover in this 12 to 24,000 range. So accounting for C5 elemental skill boost as well, the total from this rotation in the exact same setting as all the others were extrapolated, and assuming that every single bit of his damage connects with the enemy, we're getting just over 1.1 million damage. This damage increase might actually be more than you thought, and the main reason is because not only the multipliers are super solid at 100% each, but I'm pretty sure the Ascension 4 passive is also boosting by 250% of his elemental mastery. So add in the additional aggravates, and sometimes they are smashing 25,000 damage. So this is actually a lot more than I expected personally. From C3 R1 to C6 R1, we are seeing almost a 60% DPS jump. My previous guide calculation didn't think that the Ascension 4 passive would be included, but I'm pretty sure that those high damage procs wouldn't be possible without them. Alright, let's finish this off. Now we can R5 the weapon for maximum strength Cyno. And there it is, 140% of their elemental mastery as bonus attack, and then when the elemental skill hits opponents, you get this Dream Scarlet Sands, it stacks 3 times, and you get 56% per stack. The 3 stacks of this is 168%, combined with the base value, we're getting 272% of their elemental mastery as bonus attack. Ooh, man, his enhanced elemental skills broke into 44,000 damage territory. And those Duststalker bolts within that elemental skill were 2 12,500 and 1 aggravated 27.5k. So 1 elemental skill from Cyno was responsible for over 90,000 damage. That's actually ridiculous. For C6 R1, we had a 38,000 main hit and 25,000 plus 2 10ks for about 83,000 damage. I would say this is exactly what we would expect. The main multiplier damage gets improved by about 15%, 3% per refinement, and the aggravates make the DPS increase not as high, just at about 10%. It's still insane though, and this totals for just over 1.25 million damage. So overall, the increase over C6 R1 is barely over 10%, but this is expected due to flat damage increase from aggravate that has never changed since the first showcase. So, from level 80 White Tassel all the way to level 90 Scarlet Sands into full Constellation 6 R5, we're seeing a progression from 290,000 damage all the way to 1.25 million damage. Same rotations, precisely interpolated from my in-game data, including aggravates. Now since Masanori kinda isn't able to survive this kind of onslaught, how about the algorithm of semi-intransient matrix of Overseer Network, or as I like to call it, a Simon. Adding in our good old pal Kazuha, here's what Cyno can do in one rotation at C0 R1, level 80 R1 Scarlet Sands, to C6 R5, level 90 R5 Scarlet Sands.
Stabilize. Nowhere to run. Through me, justice is served. They stand condemned. Their penance is due. Guilty.
Alright, listen, forgive me for using Kazu's burst in the C6R5 showcase. He was so close to one phasing without it that I added it in just so he could look really cool one rotationing the boss. I mean, that damage doesn't lie, man. The HP bar melts so much faster under C6, and the ratio of HP bars is roughly equated to our interpolated damage, 1.25 mil to 383k for these setups. And that's about it. C0R1 to C6R5 transformation complete. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and sub. And as always, we'll see you next time. Take care.